And we are back. It is NCAA Championship Week, Monday, 7 a.m. my time, 4 a.m. Willie time, but it's going to be a week.
Brackets, baby. Brackets. Paper in your hand.
So Willie officially did phase 2. He mentioned it last week. Phase 1, look at the seeds, analyze the seeds. Now, I filled out the bracket. I did not do the consies. Willie took days and did the whole bracket, backside, everything, updated crystal ball with every single top 8, blood round, round of 16, you name it.
I got a lot of weird proclivities in wrestling. Like I don't know. Well, there's a lot of them that most people would like to do this. I like to do this, and one of those is like in the top half of the bracket. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let's get down to the bottom half. I want to see what the paths are on the backside. I really enjoy it, and it yields some interesting stuff, and some stuff obviously I can't even predict because it'll be all cooked by 10 minutes into the event. You'll see somebody lose that you didn't expect to. Well, not 10 minutes because we're idiots and we start with 33, so we have 10 pigtails, which is the dumbest thing in sports. Greatest event in the world. I have to say it every year. Greatest event in the world. Everybody gets pumped up. Yeah, let's start. Everybody cheer. Yeah, NCAA's to start. And pigtails.
Well, it's funny because I had a guy reach out to me and he's like, I love what you guys talk about, people getting involved and covering the sport and more people, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't really know where to start with covering the sport and helping. I'm like, listen, focus on being you and being consistent in whatever you can cover consistently. And I used this weekend as an example where I didn't get to really watch D2 or D3 NCAAs, but there was a lot of exciting things happening. And, I mean, even you're doing Crystal Ball, you're doing NHSCA seeds, you're doing this and that. And all that to say, I haven't analyzed it deeply, but I would love to know your thoughts on if we allowed D2 and D3 national champs to compete in the D1 tournament, what would the average place be of where they ended up in the tournament?
Oh, I think they're good. I think there's kids that would certainly beat Division I guys.
Do you think they would All-American? Like on average, do you think if 20 D2 and D3 champs enter the D1 tournament, how many All-American?
No. I don't know. You get a couple. You get a couple a year.
I do like the idea we talked about last week. I think you brought it up. Let them all wrestle. Let all these guys wrestle for the 32nd spot or the 33rd spot. Put them all in the tournament the week before.
I tell you, I'll tell you how what kind of percentage you would get from D2, from other divisions. Look at freestyle. And I know that folk ain't free, and I know that free ain't folk. But how many lower level guys compete with the D1 guys in freestyle? And there you have it. You have a pretty good idea of what you get, and that's not to poo-poo on them. There's really tangible evidence there. But yeah, first thing, yes, I think it would be awesome if. Now I would go 31. 31 kids get in the tournament. Okay. After conference weekend. Like conference weekend ends on a Sunday. On Monday, you announce the 31 guys per weight. The next weekend, guys wrestle. One guy gets in. The 32nd guy gets in. And that would be super cool. I wish we did that because it would be like a mini pre-NCAAs and then NCAAs. It'd be pretty awesome. But it'll never happen. Also, no, I would never let in other divisions.
No,
it's not the same. It's not the same thing. If they wanted to go to a Division I school, and if they want to compete at Division I level, They should go to Division One school.
Now, the real big news over the weekend, Willie, is that the whole gang's going to Philly.
The whole gang is going to Philly. What a riot! What a we went through every possible scenario to get there. We're going. We're not going. We got in fights. We yelled at each other. We called each other names. Don't ever talk to me again. And now on the Monday, well, basically the Sunday before NCAAs, now we're all going.
Yeah, we finalized it last night. What a crazy route. I'm excited. I'm going to go for Friday, Saturday. I might go Thursday, but I think I'm just going to go Friday, Saturday. I'll watch it kick off at home. I got a lot of Basch Solutions work stuff to do this week, so it's going to be crazy, but I'll be there Friday, Saturday in a suite. Got the plan to bring the laptop in, so we're covering the bases.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, the suite setup looks pretty cool. I think I don't know. It looks like there's some suites that's like a suite, and they have there's other suites that like go to a bar area
Yeah.
and like really nice restaurants. I don't know. It looks pretty cool. But I will be, I have a press pass, so like I'll be back and forth between the floor and the suite. But I talked to Izzy last night, and Izzy, Real Woods, Kennedy, Blades, and Holly Home. That's his crew. And then Martin Floriani, the Fellers family. The Fellers family will be there.
It's one of the funnest things about the suites too is bouncing back and forth between the suites, because like you'll go next door, it's a Titan Mercury suite, all those guys. Then you'll go next door, you bounce from suite to suite, and you see so many people. That was the final like I gotta go. It's like me and Bashado were both on the fence, and we said the hell with it. We got some sweet tickets. We'll go. You see so many people, and having some people reach out and saying you're going to Philly, right, and saying no got to me, and I'm like, okay.
There's a really interesting crew this year. I mean, I'm bringing one dude. He was like, to me, he was only a couple years older than me, but he to me, I looked up to him. He's only 2 years older than me, but he's a state champ, and he's a freaking wild card. His name's Denny Liberto, and I ended up with an extra ticket that I have to freaking pay for, which I hate, which was start this whole fight, which I don't even need a ticket, guys. I don't need a ticket. I don't need a ticket. Don wanted me to pay like thousands of dollars for a ticket that I didn't need. But somehow I ended up doing so anyway.
So now you paid two because you didn't just pay the one to begin with.
Yeah. So plus I had to pay for all Fellers tickets. Freaking.
It'll be a good time. I'll make sure.
It will be a good time. But I have a really crazy different group going on. I got Liberto from back home coming. Holly Home's going to be there. Izzy. I'm supposed to catch up with this guy. His name's Fred Minnick. And he is like
the bourbon guy.
The foremost authority on bourbon. And I mean, I'm there for the wrestling, but I'm pretty pumped to talk to this dude.
Fred's awesome. Fred is a avid listener to the podcast, and I love when people say like wrestling doesn't have casual fans, because I would say that Fred is one. Like, he's not this wrestling diehard that's up at 3 a.m. watching the Yasar Dogu, and like wrestling does have a lot of casual fans, and I think more than ever, as much as some people cry about this is behind a paywall and this and that, it's like wrestling still has so many fans right now. Fred's an awesome one.
He's actually a big Bellarmine fan.
Yeah. Yep.
And they got their first two entries. They made the transition to Division One. They got their first two NCAA qualifiers this year. So he's rooting hard for them. Devin Hendricks and AJ Rallo. AJ Rallo's young. He might be a freshman or sophomore. Freshman or redshirt freshman. He's from Roll Up, Missouri. I had him at the Geary tournament a couple times. Tough kid.
Well, I am pumped to be in Philly. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. As of now, like I said, I think both Baschamania and I are flying in first thing Friday morning, like 7
I
a.m.
leave. I leave in 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah,
24
that's the one. I've got such a busy work week, but it is fun when you get there early and the excitement of being there early is fun. Who knows? Maybe I'll come early. Hey, here's a question for you. Speaking of, we gave the people an update. The whole gang, best group chat in wrestling, is going to Philly. Tyler Brennan sounds like he's going to Philly. I mean,
Dude, it's the dumbest thing in the world. It's the dumbest thing that we don't have any word on it. Like the Pac-12 doesn't come out with a statement, Little Rock doesn't come out with a statement, NCAA doesn't come out with a statement. I mean, amateur hour all around by all parties involved.
and by the way, and just to be clear, none of this is like rumors or hearsay. Like this is direct conversation with the coaches who admit this is all happening. Somebody tweeted me, was like, is the Tyler Brennan thing even a real thing? Like, we haven't heard anything. Like, that, therein lies the problem.
Hold on. But here's the thing. Is it a real thing? What do you mean, is it a real thing? You cannot, no athlete in the history of sports in America, in the NCAA level, has competed in 5 seasons, 5 postseasons.
Well, without wrestling in 2021.
Is it a real thing? What do you mean, is it a real thing? You can't do it. You cannot do it. No athlete in any sport has ever done it.
Without competing in 2021. That's a big caveat to what you're saying. We have multiple guys this year competing in their 5th postseason, but they competed in 2021. He's
ineligible. He is out of eligibility. There is no question about it. The only question is somebody going to do something about it.
And I mean, it's now Monday. I don't think that they're going to rule this kid ineligible at this point.
That's insane. It's no rules. There's no rules anymore. You just do whatever they want. The same thing with the weigh-in fiasco at Big 12s.
Yeah, it's selective rule enforcements.
Yeah.
So, for people asking for the Tyler Brennan update, there is no update. NCAA is quiet. Pac-12 is quiet. Little Rock is quiet.
They tweeted at Pac-12. I mean, they didn't.
Yeah, they're just.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that if I say something, there should be a response. What I'm saying is they're fully aware of it.
Yeah, they're 100% aware, and they just don't care. So that's the Tyler Brennan update. As of now, there is none. You had said last week that you heard that he was ruled, this is ineligible, but Little Rock was throwing a waiver to get him to compete. So, who knows?
And, everyone points to Josh Humphreys. Josh Humphrey was in the same exact situation. Well, the same exact situation, like he didn't wrestle the 2020. He didn't wrestle the free year. So he applied and said, well, I didn't get a free year. I didn't get to wrestle. And they said that was a free year. You can't transfer that year. They said no. You can't. And everybody points to him. But there are lots of other people that didn't compete in the postseason that year that could theoretically, if this was the way, so everybody points to Josh Humphrey, but there's dozens of them, hundreds of them.
Yeah, Josh Humphrey seems to be the most glaring example. Like here, he medical redshirted. They did not let him wrestle in 2024. Case closed, black and white. But like you said, there are others who wanted to compete in 2024, 2025. But if you did not wrestle in 2021, then you do not have that free year. You had to wrestle. An example of somebody who wrestled and got it, Keegan O'Toole, for example, he likely would have redshirted in 2021. Because it was a free year, he wrestled, competed, took third at NCAAs, and he got that year as a free year. So now he's in his 5th year because he competed in 2021. Nobody who did not compete in 2021 is wrestling in 2025.
If Keegan didn't wrestle that year, he would not have another one.
Correct. If he would have redshirted that year, he would have not maintained that as a free eligibility year and got to wrestle in 2026.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
so crazy situation.
It is simple to figure out. I don't know why people can't figure it out. Yeah. I don't know.
All right, well, let's talk some crystal ball because you spent a ton of time in between taking random feedback from parents about their 4-year-olds, and we're going to do some segments. We're planning a lot of stuff. You guys have been happy that we've been doing consistent shows. Willie came up with some ideas this weekend about from the boards, some different segments. We might start doing parent email of the week.
Well, we should. So, back to one other thing. I did get called out. And I was sort of called out by some D3, D2 people saying, "Hey, this is great stuff going on, Willie. Like, show us some love." It looked wild. D2 nationals and D3 nationals looked wild. And I wish I had the time to get into it. I just don't have the time to get into it. I mean, this weekend alone, I was doing crystal ball, filling out brackets. I seeded 7,000 to 66,000 some entries for NHSCAs. I had to start doing the Vegas cadet trial stuff. And it's just, is it like, people say, Willie, why can't you do the girl stuff like you do the boys? You do big boards, you do commitments, you do prospect rankings, and why don't you do that for the girls, dude? When? I would love to. I cannot breathe.
It's and literally it's 4:20 in the morning where Willie is right now. It's 4:20 in the morning.
Yeah. But yeah, so finally able to catch my breath a little bit. I just got done with the seeds for NHSCAs, and but we're here. We're right here, right now, and
right here, right now.
And what I mean, here's the team scores, and you have odds. Why don't you post some odds on the screen?
Well, it's interesting because we got. I'll start with this one because one of Hash N Sports was sharing some lines and he sent me them. He's in Washington. These lines are not readily available in most states, which is a bummer. But he shared them with me.
In Washington State?
Yeah. Through like a partnership with a tribe at a somewhere. Like I don't know why. No matter how many times I say this, I still get people that DM me and asking. These odds are not available in most states. So if you log into DraftKings or FanDuel and you say, where are these odds? You're probably not going to see them. I'm in New York.
If anybody knows anybody, get a hold of DraftKings and tell them I will do it for free.
So I'm pulling up on my screen right now.
Consistently. I put odds on DraftKings every week for something.
So DraftKings, from a team standpoint, they have championships winner, and then they have top 3 place finisher and top 5 place finisher as a team, which very exciting. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, yeah. I would bet a good amount of money if I had these in New York that Iowa or Oklahoma State are top 3, top 5. Like, I like those lines. But on the screen right now, you have the odds for the championship winner.
Okay.
Which the reason they do top 3 and top 5 is because this is not really a real line. Penn State is a minus 5,000 favorite to win.
I know.
I mean,
And
that's
they have to
just
be. So what's probably going to happen is they're not going to get much action on this.
well, it depends on their limits because the problem is if you're not a gambler, if somebody's minus 5,000, that means you have to lay $5,000 to win 100. So if you lay
Mm-hmm.
$500, you're only going to win 10. Most people
Mm-hmm.
don't want to lay $500 to win 10. So I don't know.
They're not going to get any action on this,
So
and but they make it such that, I mean, that's why there's odds.
well, so take a look at the one I just put on the screen.
Now
Top
this is fun.
top 3 finish at
Mm-hmm.
NCAA's.
And Penn State's removed because they're basically a lock,
Yep.
which is the right move. Um, so Iowa at minus 175. They're like right on the bubble. No, they're not right on the bubble. Minus 175. I like that.
They're
I
almost
think,
a 2-1 favorite to be top 3. Which I still think that's a fair line. I think Iowa
yeah.
is.
You
I
know
like
what? I
that
might
line.
like that. I might like that line. I might like that line more than anything. I mean, I don't bet on wrestling like money. Uh, I might bet for like a signature on a message board or something. Like you have to write like if I win, you have to your signature has to be Willie is the greatest mind in wrestling or something like that, right? But I don't do the money stuff because I'm not like Big J journalist, but I just don't feel right doing it, you know.
Big J
But if I
journalist
did,
Willie.
but if I did, that might be the one I take. I might put like 5 units on Iowa because the odds, like in Crystal Ball, I have Iowa in second with 104 and 7 AAs. Now, I was very, I was very optimistic on Iowa. I have Teamer doing things that most people don't. I have Kennedy doing things that kind of defy conventional thinking.
Let's go
Um,
through it. Let's go
so,
through the
well,
weights.
let's talk about the team though a little bit. So I have sort of an inflated like rosy picture of Iowa. I went pretty on Iowa. So they have 104 in Crystal Ball. They have 104 and 7 AAs. Oklahoma State has 83, so that's a 21-point differential between 2 and 3. There's a cushion there for Iowa, even if Teamer doesn't do what I predicted him to do, and it's might not be likely. There is a cushion there for them to stay in second. Nebraska is next with 82, 1 point behind Okie State. So for Iowa
And
to not finish
I just put
in the
those on the
top
screen.
three,
So
okay,
if
for
you're
Iowa to
watching,
not finish in the top 3, you need them to have a letdown, but you need Oklahoma State and another team, maybe Nebraska, to overachieve. Because I think generally speaking, I gave Iowa a rosy picture. I gave Oklahoma State, I think, maybe a little suppressed, like maybe a little under what most people think. And I think I was sort of fair with Nebraska, with the exception of I have Pinto winning a bunch of like 3 consecutive toss ups. And that might not be likely. But for that minus 175 to not hit, you need Iowa to underperform and Oklahoma and at least 2 teams
right?
to overperform.
They'd have to have a very bad tournament for Iowa to come in fourth.
Well, here's what I have Iowa doing. Um, and we're talking about them because they seem to be the most, uh, have the most, what's volatility.
You know what's
So I
funny?
have,
You know what's funny with the lines is that if you go to top 5 finish, Oklahoma State jumps Iowa in the lines.
That
So
makes sense, though.
so for top 5, Oklahoma State is minus 350 and Iowa's minus 300.
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. But what that
No,
shows
that
you is
doesn't make sense.
people are betting on Oklahoma State top 5 more than they are betting top 3.
Yeah, Oklahoma State fans are betting.
They're
Maybe,
betting
maybe,
top 5.
maybe some Penn State David Taylor fans are betting. So I have Iowa with nothing at 25. Joey Cruz has a bad road. Um, Joey Cruz has a bad road. He has probably either Mark Anthony McGowan or Brendan McCrone in the first round of Wrestlebacks. I have him losing. What is Joey Cruz? Joey Cruz is the 29 seed. He has V Rob first round.
Yeah, that's a
So I
brutal
have him
draw.
losing to V Rob, and then he gets the loser of McCrone, who he just lost to maybe twice, definitely once. Um, he has McCrone or McGowan, and McGowan's a real wild card. I mean, he could go on a run, or he could lose first round to McCrone, and then Cruz
It,
would have him.
Cruz and McCrone actually split matches.
Did they split matches?
Yeah, Cruz won 6-5 at the duel and then lost 8-1 at Big Tens.
Right. So that's a really interesting grouping when you look to the backside because you have McCrone and McGowan, and I think that's a 20-13 matchup, and I think it's a toss up. I took McCrone, but Mark Anthony could be a real wild card. I mean, this is a kid that had all the talent in the world, made a couple cadet world teams, and then towards the end of his career, he wrestled sparingly and didn't perform great. I mean, he was just in a bunch of low scoring matches, and then missed all of last year. He's 15-2 on the year, so he could have a little magic in him. But I took McCrone. That drops to a group with Cruz, McGowan, or McCrone. Whoever wins that gets Spencer Moore. And Spencer Moore, because I have Spencer Moore beating Cooper Flynn and losing to Eddie Van Treska, although he has beat Eddie Van Treska before. That's why the backside of some of these are so interesting. Those matches could go either way at 125. It's insane. So let me go through real quick what I got for Iowa because they're
Eddie, by
sort
the
of
way, Eddie and Spencer Moore, another two who split matches this year. With
that's what I'm saying, and that's second round. That's not like a quarter. That's not a semi. That's second round they split.
right,
Um,
or no?
and
Did
even,
they? No, they
even
only
if
wrestled once this year. Never mind.
even if Cruz would beat McGowan in that match, he would get to Spencer Moore or Eddie Van Treska, right? So Joey got his work cut out for him. So I have them scoring no points there. I have Drake winning. I have 0. Well, they have no 41. 49, I have Parko getting fourth. 57, I have Teamer wrestling, losing to Shapiro and coming all the way back for third. I know it's highly unlikely, but listen, I couldn't, and maybe you should make a note in the show notes that we're going through Iowa at this time.
Yeah, I just did.
Because we're just going to go all through Iowa. So this is, I mean, Parko is pretty much very self-explanatory. I have him beating Styles, beating Panero Johnson, losing to Henson in the semis, making a third place match and losing to Shane Van Ness. I don't think there's anything controversial there or crazy. Now, Teamer, on the other hand, is an 18 seed. He's going to wrestle. Actually, Johnny Lovett's pretty tough. But I have him winning there. I have him losing to Myers Shapiro. And then his path back, man, I don't know. I just can't not think of Jacory as hurt or limited. My brain will not let me pick. Okay, DJ McGee. I'm not picking DJ McGee over Teamer. I'm not picking Vinny Zerban over Teamer. One guy who has the ability is next round match, which would be the blood round match, is Rafael Hippolito, who I do think has the ability to beat him, but I think it's a bad matchup because Hippolito is so funky and counter. He's so counter wrestling, and Teamer doesn't do nothing except shoot blast doubles.
I will say too, but that's Friday night. So let's just say that, again, kind of talk about with Big Tens, what's Teamer going to be like at the end of day 2 of this tournament when he would be in that blood round match. I think that's a big factor for him.
Yeah, and another factor is, and why it makes. So I understand that wrestling all the way back for third for Teamer is asking a lot. And WIllie, how can you do that? He's going through all those people. Not likely he comes all the way back for third. Another thing that makes it really wonky is 60-year guy, banged up. I mean, how motivated is he? Is he, I'm gonna go for one last blaze of glory, or, bro, I'm hurt, I'm bad, I'm over it, right? So you can't, you have to be in his head almost. Caliendo, I have runner up. That's self-explanatory. And Kennedy is a really interesting one. And along with Teamer, these are the 2 spots where I really gave Iowa a lot of benefit of the doubt, because Kennedy opens his tournament with Nico Incontrera, who has been a little bit up and down, but the last time they wrestled, Incontrera majored him. And yet, I have Kennedy winning that match. Now, I do know Incontrera has been a little bit down in the latter part of the year. I talked to some people, and they're pretty high on him. They said he's back to his old self, and he's feeling really good and looking really good. So who knows? But I have Kennedy winning that. I have Kennedy beating Casella and getting to the quarters, losing to Hamidi, and then dropping down. And I actually have him losing to Lenny Pinto in that blood round match, who he's lost to before. But there is probably more points there than other people project for Patrick Kennedy. So, well, only 4. I mean, I have him blood round. Blood round's only 4 points. 84, I have Gabe taking 8th. I have I have Buchanan. What do I have Buchanan? I switched it up. I changed my picks from when we did the show.
Shocker.
Because I now have Cardenas over Barr. I have Buchanan taking 3rd. Losing to Ferrari, beating Barr in the 3-4 match. And then I have Keeter taking 7th. Keeter loses to Treffin in the quarters, drops down, loses to Schultz. Or he beats Trevor Tinker in the blood round, loses to Schultz, beats Feldman for 7th. That is Iowa.
So it's interesting because at Big Tens, Ben Keeter was the lone dog who outperformed his seed. You have Iowa 5 guys outplacing their seed at NCAAs. Because so Drake is the 2, you got him winning. Parco's the 5, you got him 4. Teamer's the 18, you got him wrestling back for 3rd. Caliendo the 3, wrestling to 2. Gabe Arnold the 11, him placing 8th.
Keeter, yeah.
And then Keeter, Buchanan, and...
Yeah, that is true. The one guy who outplaced the seed at Big Tens I have is the only guy that's behind.
Buchanan 2. Buchanan's the 2. You got him finishing the 3.
Yeah.
I mean, close, but... So you got Iowa, a great tournament. 5 guys outperforming their seeds. You think they're really going to turn it up here?
Well, I think a couple things. Again, as unlikely as Teamer wrestling all the way back is, I just can't pick those guys to beat them. And 174 is really wonky. Kennedy has Incontrera and Casella, and I just think he can win those matches. Will, I don't know. But Ken, I think yes. So that is Iowa. You want to go weight by weight or team by team? You want any other
I, well, why don't you do Oklahoma State?
team? All right, Oklahoma State. I have with 83 points in third place. 7 All Americans, including at 125. I have Spratley taken eighth. Um, I actually have him losing to Maximo Renteria in the seventh place match. Maximo, probably one of the lowest seeded guys I have AA in across the whole tournament. And well, Teamer is 18, but Max is the 15. I think, and I could be totally wrong on this. I could blow out. He could lose to Jacob Moran, who's really tough. But Maximo, Maximo would have been a 4-timer in Cali if they didn't lose a 2020 year. Um, that's how good he was in high school. Now he was a little up and down in the national stage. One year, he would do really good at Super 32. The next year, he wouldn't place, and then he went to University of Illinois. Things didn't work out. He goes to Oregon State, and I think he's in a really good place right now. So I have him winning the first round and then losing to Ramos, dropping down and wrestling all the way back. I actually have him beating guys like Poulin and Vince Robinson, and yeah. But I have Spratley losing to Ramos, beating Poulin, losing to Ramos, dropping down, and then losing to Eddie Van Tresca in Conci semis. 133 they don't have. 141. 141 is Jameson. I have Jameson beating Composto. That's a really good matchup. Remember, Composto is a former All-American, and Jameson has never AA'd, and I think Jameson even went 1-2 last year. Jameson had bad NCAAs. 0-2 he went last year. But I have Jameson winning that, then losing to Bo, dropping down, losing to Von Bauer. And him in the 7-8 match, 149. Actually, 149 for Oklahoma State. They got Teague Travis in the pigtails, and I think he got a shot. Now, he's going to lose second round to Caleb Henson, but his path back would be Trey McDaniel, Ty Whalen, Colin Relbuto. I think that's a realistic match for him to win. I have Relbuto winning it, but I think it's a match he could win, and that would take him to the blood round. But I do not have him placing 157. Caleb Fish. What do I have Fish won? Fish winning over Rosinski. Rosinski's tough, dude. Rosinski is a tough dude. But then I have him losing to Cannon, which that's a winnable match for Fish. Dropping down, beating Seabrick or Hill. And then he'd have Will Miller in the blood round. I actually have him losing to Will Miller, which might be stupid. That's one of those spots. Fish is one of the spots where I might have undersold, where I hurt Oklahoma State's team score.
By the way, a random tidbit here for the crystal ball, which Willie's referencing in all this. Go on rockfin.com/MattScouts. His crystal ball has all of this, the top 8, the 4 blood round guys, the 4 round of 16 guys. Also has what they did last year. It has what their senior big board ranking was. It has their amount of points they'll score. Like, it is pretty detailed. So you really should go look at that. There's a lot of different details.
I mean, it'll give you a picture, and obviously all my picks are not going to be correct, right? But it'll give you a picture of if this happens, if you're a fan of a certain team, if this happens, this could be the case. If that happens, that could be the case. You kind of clear some. I said Will Miller. I'm an idiot because Will Miller's not even at that weight. It was Ethan Miller. I have Fish losing to Ethan Miller. 165. What do I have Amin doing? I haven't beaten Steed and getting to the quarters, losing to Mitchell, Mesenbrink, and then beating Scholes and losing to Bearclaw. Which, you know what? When I was doing this is a really weird thing. I have him in the 7-8 match with Mancinona. Last match of his career, he'll have to wrestle Michigan. 174 for Okie State. I have Hamidi losing to Haynes and taking third. I have Plot taking fourth, losing to Strachey on the front side and Mac McAnally in the third place match.
Danny Bronigal's your lowest seed to AA, 20.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I don't know. 174. I want to say my knee jerk reaction is to say the seeds were all jacked up. The reality is that the wrestlers from the power conferences stubbed their toe at CKLV, particularly Lenny Pinto, because what happened was Lenny Pinto took a couple losses at CKLV, and then Lenny Pinto went on to beat some of the best in the Big Ten, right? But now he has these transitive things, and the guys from the non-power schools like Danny Wask, Brevin Casella, Nico Incontrera, Lorenzo Norman, Garrett Thompson. You have all these mid-major guys that are seated high, and it made for a really funky bracket.
Well, if you look at your top 8, I mean, Haynes, O'Toole, Hamady, the 1, 2, 3, but from there, your next 5 to AA at 174, based on seeds, is 8, 20, 9, 7, 10.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Garrett Thompson. I like Simon Ruiz. I like Brevin Casella. But I'm not taking them over Carson Karchla or Lenny Pinto or the version of Danny Bronigal that we saw. Ain't doing it. I have Danny Bronigal, the 20 seed, beating the 4 and 5. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe I'm putting too much weight on one tournament and not his entire body of work. But he looked the part, man. He looked championship ready. All right, so then, yeah, Hamidi taking third, Plot taking 4. I have Serber taking 7th, which is it might be a little bit. I could see Serber not placing. Is what I'm trying to say. And then Wyatt taking 3rd.
I mean, that's 7-8 at 97 to All American is going to be so tough because
all you got to know about
Volker.
that is like look at Serber and Volker's series this year, right? They could go either way. Look at Serber and Andy Smith; they could go either way, and they have. So I think probably the top 5 are safe to hit the podium, the top 5 seeds. But after that, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, so that's Okie State. I think at worst they're 5th, and at best they're 2nd. And frankly, I don't see how they finish anything but those.
Yeah. No, I think top 5. If you can get that line, Oklahoma State minus 350.
What's that line again?
Oklahoma State minus. Let's see if I can pull it up. Oklahoma State minus 350 to place top 5.
Yeah, put 10,500 on it.
There you go. Which is 1 unit for WIllie.
3 units. 3 units. You win $300.
Yep.
All right. Any other teams? I think. What is Illinois? What is Illinois' odds?
Let's see. Let me pull it back up. For top 3 or top 5 or what?
Yeah, top 5.
Well, all right. So top 3 is plus 800. Top 5 is plus 300.
Top 5 is plus 300. I have them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 I have him 7, 2 points out of fifth place Ohio State, and Ohio State's draws are not great. I would probably put like 2 bills on Illinois. That's
Ohio
if you,
State,
that's if you believe in Bronigal.
Broncos.
Bronigal, Luffman. Um, although
Well, I'm saying if you believe in both Broncos, because if both Broncos can AA, Illinois has a good shot at top five.
I will say though that Illinois, I probably gave a little bump to. I was probably helpful for Illinois because I got Bronigal to I got Danny to the semis. I got Edmund Ruth winning, and Edmund Ruth was not great this year, but he had a good Big Tens, and I have him winning a lot of close matches. I have him. Uh, I have him beating Silas, which is a thing, and then I have him beating Arnold or Heller, which so he could be that's what I'm saying is that's the max for him. He ain't beating Plot, and so uh, I have Ruth basically maxed out. I have Bronigal basically maxed out. I have Lucas Bird basically maxed out. Um, so 62 in or 60 points in seventh place is Illinois pretty much maxed, unless Luffman would cause an upset or two, unless Scholes would cause an upset or two against, unless Zach Bronigal would cause an upset or two. What do I have Webster?
I mean, if you're only 2 points out from fifth place at that point, I would say that a big one is if you think Bird can beat Drake in the finals again, because that would give them a 4 point bump.
It would, but that's assuming Bird, who wrestles a lot of close matches, doesn't drop a weird one.
No, I agree.
Um, I have Webster beating Real Buto. I have him beating Cal Miller, then beating Real Buto, then losing to Lovett, then dropping down and beating Styles. Illinois versus Illinois matchup in the blood round. And that's with Styles over D'Amelio. So if Webster beats Miller, beats Robuto, loses to Lovett, he's going to get the winner of D'Amelio Styles in the blood round. And I have him winning that. So, yeah, I got Illinois close to max, but man. So they might need somebody to slip up. They would have to max. They'd have to hit my marks. And then they'd probably need like Minnesota or Ohio State to falter somewhere. Illinois is a really, really interesting team this year.
100%, especially after that Big Ten performance.
Yeah.
All right, let's go weight by weight and talk some nuggets at each weight.
Let's talk some nugs. 125. I have Lilladal beating Smith, Figs, and then Ramos in the finals. Mostly chalk. Of the 8 placers, 7 of them are in the top 9. The only guy outside the top 8 I have 2 guys outside of the top 8. Caleb Smith, who's the 9, and Maximo Renteria, the 15. The 2 guys in the top 8 that I don't have placing. I don't have Vince Robinson placing.
That was a head scratcher for me. What was your logic for that one?
Well, let's see. I have him beating Cruz. I have him beating the McGowan Macron winner, and then I have him losing to Figs. Now, I fully admit that I think my head would not break if he beat Richie Figs. However, I'm not picking it. So then he drops down. I have him losing to Maximo Renteria. That's probably a dumb pick.
You can't go all chalk, so you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a dumb pick. I have him losing the blood round to Maximo. I do have Macron, the 20 seed for Ohio State, reaching the blood round where he loses to Spratley. I mean, I wrote an article for the seeds to the low seeds and good good picks. And Macron at a 20 is I like him. I like him. He could beat McGowan. Listen, he beat Luke Lildahl. He beat Dean Peterson. He could certainly beat Vince Robinson. Um, and then in the backside, I haven't beaten Peterson again. If you told me if you're in those pick'em contests and you have to take a low seed, Macron over Spratley in the blood round, I mean,
I got to do all those fantasy.
you can't find too many 20 seeds that have a shot. So I like Macron there, and that's what I have at 25.
If you're taking a 20 seed, though, aren't you taking Bronigal? Because you have him taking fifth.
Yes, if you have to pick a number, if you have to pick a 20 seed, pick Bronigal. But there's some contests where you can only pick 17 on down at each weight.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. There's one on Intermat's message boards that do that. Dude, I don't even know what I publish and what I don't publish anymore. Did I publish that article?
I don't think you did.
I did. Dark Horse Paths.
Did you? Oh yeah.
Yep. Here are the guys I picked. I picked Teague Travis, who I said. Kyle Reen, a 26 seed. He's a returning All-American. Patty Gallagher, the 26. Listen, talk about interesting teams. I was really interesting. Oklahoma State they're not really that interesting. They're second to fifth for sure. Nebraska is not that interesting. They have a low floor, high ceiling, low floor. But Illinois, really volatile. Ohio State, really volatile. Listen to this. I mean, they have a 26 seed in Patty Gallagher, a 26 seed in Ryder Rogotsky, a 20 seed in Brendan McCrone, and a 7 seed in Vince Bouzakis, who's all over the map. He could win the damn thing or DMP. So, that's why I say some people poo-poo the idea of the team race. Oh, the team race doesn't matter. There's no team race and there's no intrigue there. You're crazy. There's a lot of intrigue with the other teams. All right, 133. I got Drake over Bird. I do have 2 non-top 8 seeds AAing. That's Evan Frost, the 11, and Ethan Oakley, the 12. I actually have Bouzakis not AAing. The 2 8 seeds that I have not AAing, Nick Bouzakis and Braden Davis, and here is why. Nick Bouzakis, I have him losing first round of Kyle Reed. And then the winner would have Shawver. But the backside, I don't know. That's probably stupid too. Probably stupid. But I like to mix it up. Bouzakis who is that? Braxton Brown.
I love that you spent all weekend making these picks, and now you're like, it's stupid.
A lot of coin flips. I have Bouzakis beating somebody. I don't know who that is. Braxton Brown, maybe. And then Van D. And I have him losing to Nasir Bailey in the blood round. Now, that path changes. If he beats Oreen in round 1. If he beats Oreen in round 1, he would have Noto and then Serrano. Now, why don't I have Braden Davis?
This is your one weight where you do not have Penn State All-American.
Yep. I have 9 AAs. I do not have Braden Davis. What's weird is some guys I get accused a lot of erroneously. I get accused of having my guys and picking them and my teams and picking them.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty dang close to Braden Davis's father. And Braden Davis's father, there's a lot of guys that if I'm close to them and their father is not a lunatic, I sort of pick against them and then hope for the best. Because I know he ain't going to cry about it. And Braden Davis has all the ability in the world. Big Ten champ last year. He can certainly AA. But this is what I have him doing. I have him beating Phipps. I have him beating Braxton Brown. I have him losing to Lucas Bird, dropping down, and losing to McGonigal in the blood round. That's what I have.
Now it's funny because here's the two arguments for Braden Davis. Last year, he went 0-2 at NCAA's. Did not have the best NCAA tournament. So if you're telling me he does an AA, I understand where you're coming from. On the other side of that, I mean, kid's a dog. Kid is a dog.
Well, the thing about him being a Big Ten champ and then not AAing last year is the same situation as this year, in my opinion. The parity at the weight. These are coin flip matches. These are one exchange matches. And you need to string them together. You need to string a lot of coin flip matches together.
Yeah.
You know? And you have him AA, and who do you have him beaten? You haven't beaten Lucas Bird?
I didn't do the backside.
Okay, because I have him in the quarters against Lucas Bird, and I cannot pick Davis over Bird. And then he drops down.
No, I got Bird winning the quarter.
All right, so then
who do you have after that in the backside?
His blood round match would 100% be the loser of McGonigal and Frost. So would you take Braden Davis to beat the winner of McGonigal Frost?
Yeah, I would.
All right, well then you have him AA in. 141.
I have McGonigal beating Frost and Bailey beating McGonigal on the top side, so it'd be a McGonigal.
Well, here's the thing about Frost is really interesting because I think the world of him. I think on his best day, he's a gangster and can beat just about anybody. He wasn't right. He pulls a ton of weight. He wasn't right. I threw the Big 12. I threw his Big 12 result completely out. I'm not even going to pay attention to it. I'm going to act like it didn't exist. It's totally counterintuitive to what you would think he would do at the big. It doesn't map to anything else he's done. Now, he could come here and have a tough weight cut again and be terrible again. But at his best, which he was last year at NCAAs, I think he's a real problem. And so I have him AA. Actually, he's 11 seed. I haven't taken fourth. 141.
I love people listening right now are the best because we did a 2-hour plus preview show 3 days ago, and now we're doing another one.
we are, but and I about a half hour ago when we started getting in the crystal ball, I kind of it crossed my mind. I'm like, are we repeating what we said? But we're not. We're looking at different angles. This is entirely different angle than what we did before, especially with the backside stuff, which again I think is among the most interesting. We're all going to take. This is a perfect example. We're all going to have the final four here, final five, maybe six. Everybody's going to take in some order. Everybody's going to take Mendez, Hardy, Bartlett, Bombauer, Alirez, Happel. Okay, everybody's going to take that. The interesting stuff to me comes in the backside. With things like Composto Olivieri. I have Composto winning and then losing to Coderhant. Lemley Latona, winner gets Jameson. I have Jameson winning and then losing to Von Bauer. Von Bauer beating Frost in the blood round, beating Jameson in the Conti semi, beating Happel. All right, that's not the Conti semi. That's the whatever that is. The Conti semi, I have Von Bauer beating Happel. I have Von Bauer all the way out to Bo. And you know what? Under my thing, under how I have it going, now this assumes a lot. This assumes Hardy beats Alirez. And I know some people are not going to take that. I think if Alirez beats Hardy, he makes the finals. I think the Hardy Alirez winner makes the finals. That being said, the loser has a really tough situation because they flip down below and they will get the Bo Mendez loser. So the Hardy Alirez loser in the Conti semis will have the Mendez Bo loser. So how I have it is I got Hardy winning, Alirez dropping down, beating Coderhant, and then Bo beating Alirez. I have Andrew Alirez taking 5th.
But by the way, if you tell me that, given who's at this weight, given the talent at this weight, given that we haven't seen Alirez too much this year against top competitors, I don't think that's that crazy of a pick at this point.
I hate it, though, because Alirez has 2 losses. No, Alirez has 1 loss in 2 seasons.
I know, it's crazy.
And I have him losing twice this weekend. I hate it. It's probably stupid. But it's overall, the weight, to me, is mostly chalk. My picks are mostly chalk. The top 8 placers for the top 8 seeds. I don't have anybody really overperforming. Maybe Moshe Schwartz is a 19 seed. I have him in the blood round. I have him beating Dylan Cedeno and then losing to Alirez in the blood round. Pretty straightforward weight with the top 8 guys. Just they will dominate the picks in some order.
Yep.
149, I have Caleb Henson winning. And this is another, I have it just like 49. Listen, actually, the order that I have these guys based on seed is 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 6. 1, 2, 3. What is? I have this wrong in here.
Yeah, you have Parco wrong. Parco's the 5, not the 4.
Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 6, 4, 7. So
on paper, one of the most chalk weights for WIllie.
Yeah. It's the second weight in a row I picked only the top 8. I have Styles, Relbuto, Wazlewski, and Lamer in the blood round. That's 9, 10, 12, 14. Yeah, I mean, it's chalk. It's seeded really well. So we're not going to, the part of the problem with Hardy Alirez loser wrestling Bo Mendez loser in a Conti semi, that is a product of Alirez getting the 8.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when it's, and not that it was a bad seed, but it's a weird seed. And that doesn't occur at 149. At 149, it's pretty straightforward. Henson over Williams in the top quarter. Parco over Pinero. Shane Van Ness over Lachlan McNeil. Lovett over Webster. Pretty straightforward, right?
Pretty chalk.
157. Kasich Shapiro. 1, 2, and then I have. Oh, it's so stupid. I have Ja'Cory Teamer, the 18 seed, taking 3rd.
How about
I hate this.
Somebody sent me my tweet from October when you were breaking my balls when we were doing a college season preview show. and you said, "All right, so who do you got Kasich beating to win the title in
Oh
March?"
yeah, go for it.
And I said Meyer Shapiro, and now they're the 1 and the 2 seed. So
Yeah,
I'm nothing if not consistent. I said Kasich over Shapiro in October, and I'm sticking with Kasich over Shapiro in March. And hey, they're the 1-2 seed.
yeah.
It is
Shapiro's a
crazy
tough.
that you have Teamer, based on what he's done these past couple of months, outplacing Antrell Taylor, Ryder Downey, Brandon Cannon, Joey Blaze.
What was preseason? I mean, preseason had to be Teamer, Shapiro in some order. And what did everybody? Who was the next top guy? Was it Kasich?
I think it was. I'm trying to think how it was. I want to say it was like Kasich was the 1, Teamer was the 2, Shapiro the 3. I think.
There's no way. Well, there's no way Kasich was the one preseason. He
No,
was
you're
coming up.
right. Teamer had to be the 1.
Yeah, it must have been Teamer, Shapiro, Kasich.
Yeah.
But then the weight after those three, it's anybody's game. It's anybody's game because you have Antrell Taylor, Ryder Downey, Brandon Cannon, Joey Blaze, Hippolito. I have Hippolito not placing because I have him losing to Teamer, and I think he's really good. Certainly can place. Um, and who knows? Maybe he does beat Teamer. And Teamer being the 18 screws the bracket up for a lot of people, or could. Um, it really affects a very good Big 12 champ in Vinny Zerban, and it really affects the ACC champ in Hippolito. Both Teamer will hit both on that path, unless he gets knocked off.
If it's Hippolito Teamer Friday night, give me Hippolito. If that's where we're at in the backside bracket. I don't know. You're giving so much. You're very bullish on Teamer. It's just based on the year he's had. I don't know. We already talked about it 3 times now, but
Yeah, I know it's probably. I'm not ready to take a freshman Hippolito over Ja'Cory 4-time All-American Teamer. I'm not ready to do that. Uh, Although it's probably the right move based on Teamer's condition.
you're talking about a 7th-year senior who has 12 matches on the year heading into the NCAA tournament. Like, yes, I understand the Ja'Cory 4-time All-American argument, but again, a 7th-year senior on the backside on Friday night at the NCAA tournament. Give me the young blood there.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the right choice. I don't know. It's hard for me to not. It shouldn't be. I should take the data I have, which is the data I have is that Ja'Cory's not been right all year. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think Ja'Cory's better. But then again, I think Ja'Cory's a lot better than Ethan Miller too. All right, 165. Again, I went chalk. Top 8 seeds. Mesenbrink, Caliendo, Peyton Hall, Hunter Garvin. I have the 7 seed taking 4th. Julian Ramirez, the 5th, taking 5th. Barraclaw, I have taken 6. Mantanona and Amin. Steed, Skulls, Minto, Ruiz in the blood round. It's boring. It's the picks are boring. Who the hell are you going to take to beat any of those guys? I mean, you're not picking. Like, you can see it happening, right? You can see Minto beating a Mantanona. He did this year already. But you're probably not picking it.
No, it's such a weird weight this year because Messenbrink has teched everybody except for Caliendo, who he's beaten 5-6 times in a row now. Caliendo has separated himself from everybody in the bracket this year with only taking a loss to Messenbrink. So it's one of those weird. It's one of those weird things where the one is a clear one separated from the two, and the two is a very clear two separated from the rest. And then you have a bunch of guys that are kind of all around that same tier. I think Bearclaw, Ramirez, Garvin, Hall.
Yeah, I could see though. I think a very volatile guy in this weight will be Bo Mantanona. He pins a lot of people, and I always say, if somebody can surprise you at the end of the year, it's a freshman. It's a freshman. They finally they get the whole year in under their belt, and they can make a jump. So watch for Bowman. 174. I got a lot of wonky stuff going on here. Levi Haynes over Keegan O'Toole. Levi beating Hamidi and O'Toole. Jeez, what a tournament that would be. Lenny Pinto, I have the 8 seed taken 4th. I have zero confidence in that. He could blood round. Listen, and this goes highly into Nebraska's fortunes for the entire tournament, because I have Pinto, the 8 seed, beating Dalton Harkins, losing to Karchla. Now he could win that, but I have him losing to Karchla. He outplaced Karchla 2-5, 2-4 at the Big Tens. So Pinto drops down, and then he would have to. This is very similar to the Teamer situation. Stringing those matches together is highly unlikely, but I cannot pick the other guy. Pinto versus Gatan. First of all, that's 33-31 final score. Then I have him beaten Norman, who he lost to earlier in the year. Then I have him beaten Kennedy, who he beat. I don't know. What? 20-15?
21-15, I think it was.
And then I have him beating Wask, who he also lost to. So, yeah. If you look at Nebraska's score and think, Willie loves Nebraska, it's not that. It's this particular backside weight, backside draw. I gave Pinto the benefit of the doubt, and it's not good. He's not going to do that. And Teamer's
you
probably
said in
not.
the article, you said, go ahead and call me Husker Willie. Pinto at 4 is probably very generous.
Yeah. So that was a little bump for Nebraska. Again, Bronigal, the 20 seed, I have taken 5th. Karchla, the 9, taken 6th. Wask, the 7, taken 7. And I have Alex Kramer from Central Michigan, the 10 seed, taken 8th. How does that happen? Alex Kramer, who's had a very good year. I have him losing to Wask. I have him beating Gatan, losing to Wask. Beating Gavin Sachs, beating Simon Ruiz. I love Simon Ruiz, Del Barton boy. One of my favorites. But I'm really interested to see how 2 Del Barton kids do this year. Cross Wazlewski and Simon Ruiz. Love those kids. Kennedy, again, I have in the blood round. Garrett Thompson, I have in the blood round. It's hard for me. I like
Who
Garrett
do you have
Thompson.
Kennedy losing to here in the blood round?
I have Kennedy losing to Pinto.
Okay.
A big, big match in the team race if that materializes, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got Iowa, Nebraska, what, a point apart, something like that?
No, I have Iowa comfortably ahead. I have Iowa 21 points higher.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Iowa, Oklahoma State are a point apart.
But if Pinto wins that, the winner of that match really gains an advantage,
I mean,
right?
that was an 18 to 11 match at the
Yeah,
duel with Pinto winning. So I don't think Pinto winning over Kennedy is too generous. I mean, it just happened.
yeah. Another guy you got to focus on here is Garrett Thompson. He had such a great year last year. He had a pretty good year this year, although he has the 4 seed, which you look at the 4 seed and then you look at the losses that he had, and you're like, how the hell is he a 4 seed? He's a, he has more losses than his seed. He had 5 losses, and he's a 4 seed, and the losses are to guys way behind him. But he is very good, and I'd like to see Ohio get a guy on the podium, especially with their 57 pounder is really good, and he's out for the year.
How did he get such a good seed?
Right? I said so on Twitter, and some of the Ohio people were rushing to like defend him, and I get it. He's your boy. Read off his losses.
He doesn't have a top 10 win this year. He lost to Alex Kramer in overtime. He lost to Danny
Who's
Wask.
6 spots behind him?
He lost to Danny Wask. He lost
Who's
to
3 spots behind him?
Lorenzo Norman.
Who's 12 spots behind him?
He lost to Incontrera.
Who's 18 spots behind him?
And Alex Kramer. Again.
Who's 6 spots behind him? All his losses are to guys behind him.
Now, he did end up beating Alex Kramer twice. He lost to him. They wrestled 4 times this year. He lost twice, beat him twice.
All right, so his best win's the 10 seed.
No, his best win, he beat Simon Ruiz. He beat Cade DeVos.
He's a 13 seed. DeVos is a 13 seed.
Yeah, that's right. I thought he was higher. Yeah. Yeah, that's a wonky seed.
But here's the thing. I'm not looking to be right.
Oh, that was your seating violation, wasn't it? Your seating violation.
You lost to 16, 22, 10 twice. How'd you get to 4?
Yeah, that's a very valid question.
That being said, I like Ohio. I donate to Ohio.
I love Ohio.
Like Joel Greenlee's my dude. I love him, and so I would like him to get a guy on the podium. Especially they had a guy on the podium last year. They're 57. Who's their 57? I can't think of the name. Driving me nuts. Gotta look it up. Sorry.
Last year was Peyton Keller.
Peyton Keller. All right. Peyton Keller took 5th last year, and they lost him for the season. Hopefully he gets a medical. But instead of having 2 bullets, they really just have Thompson, and so it would be nice to get him on the podium. All right, 184. 184, Starachi over Plott in one semi, Keckeisen over Mickinelli in another semi. I have it chalk 1, 2, 3, 4. I have Edmund Ruth somehow, the 10 seed, taking 5th. Well, I'll tell you how. I have Edmund Ruth beating Rogotsky, losing to Keckeisen, dropping down blood round, beating Silas Allred. I have Silas Allred losing to Bennett Berge in round 2. Here's a weird one I took. I guess, I don't know if it's that weird. No, it's not that weird. It just sucks. I have Jackson Smith beating Chris Folk in the blood round. Chris Foka is my guy. He's one of the nicest kids in the world. His dad's awesome, awesome human being. But Jackson Smith majored him during the regular year. You know? And I think that Jackson Smith was in some real wars wrestling through that Big Ten schedule. And for whatever reason, Cornell's schedule was not tough this year. And so if I'm looking at Jackson Smith, majored FOCA earlier in the year.
Bubble of a major 7-point match.
Oh, it was a 7 point.
14-7.
If Jackson Smith beat FOCA with some distance in the beginning of the year and then went through that schedule, Gabe Arnold, Silas Allred, all the Big Ten guys, Edmund Ruth, he should even be more prepared to win this go round. And so I hated it. I hate picking Chris FOCA, not the AA, but that's the way I see it. Bennett Berge, Jackson Smith, Gabe Arnold, the 11.
The funnest thing about all this, though, is where there's going to be chaos. Because we're going based on, like, logic in the season, and there's going to be a match. There's going to be so many matches that you can't predict unless you're a homer of that team, and you're like, I told you so-and-so's going to win. Like, great, but...
Well, wrestling's such a crazy sport. It's so fascinating because you could see a guy that always wins. He always wins by 2 points. And this time he doesn't win that exchange, and he loses, and the whole arena loses their mind. Nothing can exemplify that quite like two guys will wrestle in round 2, and then later on they'll wrestle on the backside. Yeah. One wins one time, one wins the other time. So when you know that is a routine incident, when you know that is a routine occurrence, that one guy wins on the front side and one guy wins on the backside, then you start to understand how crazy of a sport this is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's 184, 197. What did we talk about? What I had Gabe Arnold doing? I had Gabe Arnold beating Donnell Washington, beating Chris FOCA.
You've got him AA in 8th, and I don't hate it.
This is his path. Well, the FOCA one's huge. The FOCA one is huge because, again, if he loses to FOCA, if I have it wrong and he loses to FOCA, he would get DJ Parker and then Jackson Smith in the blood round. Jackson Smith, who he's always has tight matches with. If he wins that and loses to Mickinelli, and by the way, Mickinelli-Arnold was an OT match. But if Arnold loses to Chris FOCA...
Mickinelli-Arnold was an overtime match, and so is Mickinelli-Carter-Stracci.
Yeah. If Arnold wins against FOCA, he drops down, and I have him beating Heller from Pitt in the blood round. So that's how Gabe Arnold gets to AA in my dreams. 197. I got AJ Ferrari winning it. Ferrari beating Max Stout. Max Stout beats Luke Stout in the second round. Then Ferrari beats Max Stout. And then he beats Buchanan. How? I don't know. The kid just always freaking wins. Volker, I have beaten Salazar. Volker loses to Buchanan. Ferrari beats Buchanan. Cardenas beats Serber and Barr up top. And then Ferrari beats Cardenas in the finals.
No, you got that one wrong. It's Barr Ferrari in the finals.
Could be. How's the knee holding up?
Everything's good.
Everything's good. His work is he's down in the room right now, wrestling Soriano. Do I have anything crazy here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. Stephen Little's. Figure out how Garrett Thompson is the 4 seed at 74, and then Stephen Little is the 12 seed at 97. You're gonna hurt yourself. You'll hurt your brain. I don't have crazy picks. but there's some good dudes lurking. Wyatt Volker, Isaiah Salazar, Trey Munoz, Joey Novak, a really good young kid from Wyoming who actually beat Volker this year. So, you got the top four, top five, and then shake them up because things could go all kinds of different ways. And again, that being the case, it's really pivotal for Okie State in the team race, Wyatt Volker, Northern Iowa in the team race, Zach Bronigal, Illinois in the team race, Isaiah Salazar, Minnesota in the team race, Virginia Tech. A lot of those coin flip matches, you have to put a bunch of them together. But if you're popping as a team, you can go from eighth in the projections to fourth.
Yeah.
Heavyweight, everybody knows what they're doing here. They're going Gable, Kirk, Hendrickson, unless you wear some really, really strong colored glasses of your favorite team. I went Treff in the 4 over Schultz to mirror the dual result. I have Heinzelman taking 6th. I do have Feldman on the podium. He's my only top 8 guy that I have on the podium. Feldman, the 12, getting 8th. Luffman, the only guy in the top 8 not in. I have Luffman in the blood round, and it would be big. It would be big for Illinois. They max out. They could be top 5, top 4. Illinois, let's see what I have Luffman doing in his path. I have Luffman losing to Schultz in round 2 at 8-9 matchup. And then beating Lance Runyon and losing to Josh Heinzelman in the blood round. That's about. I have a dark horse though. I took Keeter to podium. Maybe it's just because I was there. The Trevor Tinker kid. I know his resume is not great, but he looks the part. And he's 6'7", long, lean, 0% body fat, and he's like another version of Keeter. Now, nobody quite matches Keeter's pure athleticism, but Tinker can move. Tinker can scramble, and I have Ben winning that match in the blood round. However, I hope that match materializes because I really want to watch it. So that's my dark horse at heavyweight.
What's he seated? Like 18th, 19th?
15th.
15th?
Yeah. 15th.
And check out, I'll link it up in the description, but check out Willie's dark horse to get a dark horse at every weight under, 17 seed?
Let's see what I did. I did over 12. So I took T. Travis. And I tell you, in the article, I tell you why I took them. And I explain their path on the backside. So I took T. Travis. And when I say I take, I mean I nominated for a good low seed. T. Travis, Kyle Reen at 26, Patty Gallagher at 26, Ryder Rogotsky at 26, Brendan McCrone at 20, Danny Bronigal at 20, Ja'Cory Teemer at 18, Trevor Tinker at 15, Spencer Moore at 14, a 14 that beat 3 conference champions this year. And Tyler Knox. Tyler Knox at 13 needed a wild card. Did not have a great end of the year, but we're talking about a guy that has wins in his career over Nick Bouzakis, over Drake Ayala. He has a win this year over Drake Ayala. And so, and Seth Romney and Dylan Shaver. So as a 13th seed, I think there's some upside.
Yeah, that was Drake's only loss throughout the whole season until Bird beat him in the Big Ten Finals.
Yeah.
And it was early. I mean, it was like Drake's second match of the year back in early November. So a long time ago, but it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out. That's the dark horses. All right, so that's crystal ball. That's dark horses. That's team betting odds. Um,
What's the schedule? Are you bringing podcast equipment or am I?
we got to figure that out. TBD. Because I'll probably, yeah, we'll figure that out. That's TBD. But schedule 12 o'clock Thursday, first round, second round Thursday night, 7 p.m., and then quarterfinals and contests Friday at noon, semifinals and blood round Friday night, 8 o'clock, medal round 11 o'clock Saturday morning, finals 7 o'clock. I posted the streaming schedule. It's literally exact same as last year. Everything's on ESPN Plus. First round ESPNU, second round ESPN, I believe. Quarterfinals, ESPNU. Semifinals this year is the one change. It went from ESPN to ESPN2. Wrestling got bumped for the women's basketball tournament, which I believe did better ratings last year, so sadly I'm not surprised by that. Medal round, ESPNU, and then the finals on ESPN. Mattcast, Trent Hidley will be on with Shane Sparks.
I'm telling you, dude, he did really well. I mean,
did.
I don't know. I think he might have announced one other time, one event, but anyway,
I think he did
for
a
being
duel.
a total rookie, he was so good.
And I saw some comments, and I'll echo them. Sometimes when you have a guy like Trent on, you're anticipating bias. You know, he's an alum at NC State, and you know, he was, even during the ACC championships, where I feel like it's even harder to be unbiased. He did very good. He did awesome with,
He knew every kid in every ACC lineup. He knew their tendencies. He talked about the style matchups, and I thought he knew when to talk, when not to talk. He knew he was excellent. He
did
excellent.
great. And Willie is very critical in the group chat of commentators.
I'm very critical. I think a lot of announcers that I don't think we have too many good announcers. I'll say that.
Anytime
I thought that Trent was very good.
Anytime I get a request to do a commentary, I say no, because if Willie listens, he'll just berate me.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. And I do get requests, and I'm like, no, I am not good at that. No. Hey, one random senior level tidbit for you. Yianni's officially back after a year off. Pumped to see him. Dude, the U.S. Open, I can't wait. It's like, thank God this year, once NCAA's is over. I was just talking to my wife about this last night. Like, it's a long season, and I don't do nearly as much as somebody like you who's doing seeds and all this, but I'm tired, you know. And this year it's going to be a lot nicer. You don't go right into the Olympic trials. But going into the U.S. Open next month, there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, you think about guys like Yianni's up at 70 kilos. We're going to start seeing these young guns like PJ Duke. You know, you can get a Yianni Duke match. Like, you start talking about what the U.S. Open's going to look like at all levels, cadet trials, juniors. I posted a graphic yesterday that Kobe, Miro, Rocco Delegata, Drayshawn Ross, Mike Mako, all in at heavyweight already for juniors at the Open. So there's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming up. I'm pumped to see Yianni back. He has been out for about a year.
Did Yianni say when he's coming back?
Open.
He's coming back for the Open? Awesome.
Yeah. So Yianni, he has not wrestled since the Olympic trials, unless I'm missing an event. But I don't think he has. He had labrum surgery in August, and he's finally ready to go. He's up at 70, so he's done with that cut to 65. I think we're going to see a much healthier Yianni at 70 kilos. I'm pumped to see him up there.
Yeah.
And hey, one other final note, because it's March 17th, so for the next 2 months, we will probably be having transfer portal segments on the show. 2 transfer portal news items for today. First of all, the portal doesn't open up officially until Wednesday. Why the portal opens up the day before NCAA's is crazy, but it opens up on the 19th. Unless I read that incorrectly.
It could. I thought last year it opened up the Wednesday. I thought it opened up the Wednesday after conferences, but I could be wrong.
I read that it opened up the Wednesday the 19th. So two quick notes. Tay Gaidali is giving his commitment today where he's transferring to on Flow, so we'll know in a couple hours. My hunch says Michigan. Who knows? I don't have any inside info on that, but that decision's coming today. And yesterday, Iowa State's Zach Redding announced he's hitting the portal.
I I think I've spoken about Zach Redding, how much I like that kid. Hard nosed kid, go whatever weight you ask him to go. Really tough kid. He'll be a good pickup for somebody. Tay, I also think Michigan.
Yeah, and Zach, do you think? I mean, if you look at his wrestle stat, first of all, he's had 3 freshman years, which is crazy. But his weights, he's officially wrestled 5 years, so I think he only has 1 year left of eligibility. But his weights, he went 133, 141, 133, 149, 141.
No. Yeah. I think he's a 41 pounder, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see where he lands. All right, I think that's it. Willie and I are going to try to figure out when we're doing shows. If it's up to me, we'll do one every morning at NCAA's like we did at Conference Championships. But NCAA's is also absolutely chaotic.
It is.
So it's because you want to see everybody. You schedule meetings. You get together with people. It's going to be hard to bang out shows every day. But we'll see what we can do. We'll figure that
Yep.
out.
We'll get something up.
And last year, I think so if I remember correctly, as I was trying to look back, I think last year you bailed on me for the championship recap show, and I did one with Chenzo. I think you slept like 2 days after NCAA's, and you did a solo show like in the middle of Monday night.
I think I was seeding NHSCA's the last day of NCAA's.
Yeah, it was something crazy because I looked back to what time we did a show. I'm like, oh wait, Chenzo and I did a show like lunchtime Sunday, I think, and then
I had to like seed either. I didn't even go to the medal matches. I had to seed either NHSCA's or Tulsa National or Reno Worlds or something.
yeah.
It's insane.
But we're here. We're at NCAA's. It's the greatest time of the year. I'm
It really
pumped.
is.
I'm pumped to be in Philly. See a lot of good people.
My flight leaves in 24 hours and 20 minutes.
Man, you're heading early. I'm jealous.
I get there. I land at like 6 o'clock, 5:45, and I'm gonna try to eat all the cheesesteaks, all of them, in the whole town
City.
city.
Yeah, why don't you go run the museum steps before you do the cheesecakes, okay? Cheesesteaks. Go get some sun. Go get some vitamin D. All right, that's a show. Like, comment, subscribe. Go Bills.
The Bills.